Hello, everybody. I'm Jonathan Coachman, and this is Super...
All right, thanks, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Tonight, it's all on the line. We play for the Lombardi Trophy, as it'll be the AFC champion Oakland Raiders taking on the champions from the NFC, the Minnesota Vikings. It's finally time for the main event here in 2025. Away we go in Super Bowl 59. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. And a look here at their go-to guy under center.
And what I enjoyed in preparing for this game was talking not just with the coaching staff, but with him as well. And I found it interesting that the coaching staff sees him one way, and he sees himself an entirely different way.
Yeah, one thing he said he's always working on, we know he's not bad at this, but his footwork, always wants to improve that, and that's something he's going to focus on here.
And what was so funny, what the offensive coordinator say right off the top? He's got great footwork. Love his footwork. So this guy is never satisfied.
The first carry now for Dalvin Cook. And an early how do you do right there as they're going to bury him in the backfield. It'll go as a loss of 3 right away, and it's second down.
Nice play right there to stop him behind the line, but I want to see how this defense continues to play him here in the first half.
Yeah, we know, you know better than I, he has the ability to take over a game. So what do you do?
Yeah, I think you have to make sure that you bottle him in at varying levels, because if you crowd everyone to the line of scrimmage, if he breaks through, it's nothing but room to run.
A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. A throw over the middle taken in. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down.
One thing we do know, he's going to get his catches. So as they move forward defensively, got to continue to focus on not giving up the big play when he does catch the ball in the secondary.
And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. They're able to convert with a gain of 4. Defense had a chance to get off the field here in the opening drive, couldn't do it.
I know that we go into these meetings with coaches, and sometimes maybe we can get, a little bit numb because they're always going to talk about how important 3rd down is, aren't they? Offense and defense. In this case, one capitalized, and the other, as you said, had a chance to get off the field and didn't get it done.
Give them 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. On play action, they'll throw. Oh, he'll want that one back. Incomplete. He doesn't drop too many in that department. 3rd down. A look at the defensive starters now for the Raiders. They were very strong in that victory from a week ago. And last week in that victory, they were pretty good. Probably a pretty easy film session, I would imagine.
And after a performance like that, so many people think you just roll into film, take your popcorn, kick back, and enjoy the show because they played well. I can just tell you from experience, after a win is when coaches come down on you harder, because they want to emphasize all the mistakes that happen. Because you won, you're in a good mood. They want to bring you back to earth. Oftentimes you walk out of there and you ask your teammate, did we win last week?
So my assumption was wrong. I learned something.
Well, there was pressure all around him, so the only play was to try and get out of there. I think it was an excellent effort by him just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Here's Thomas Morstead on now to punt it away on 4th down. Taking it about the 16. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And the Raiders will take over now 1st and 10. So here comes the Raiders offense now onto the field. They're led out by their quarterback out of Fresno State, Derek Carr.
The thing I like most about Derek Carr's game is not just the right arm and his touch and his ability to find receivers. I think it's his calmness, and I think that transmits itself very well to the rest of the team. They feed off of that, and they go out and play with confidence.
Now here's a pass on first down that's knocked away and incomplete. And the offensive starters here for the Raiders.
And this offensive line, they're going to have to be a lot better than they were right there. We certainly won't measure them just by one play, but they definitely got a big challenge ahead of them in this one because this defense, They love to run blitz, and they clog up the running lanes.
First rep of the game for Josh Jacobs. And he gets this to the 35. Good for a gain of 5. Here now the starters defensively for the Vikings. They were very strong in that victory from a week ago.
We had a nice conversation with the defensive coordinator, didn't we? And what was fun to me was hear him say, I like what we did, but we need more pressure on the quarterback this week. What he wouldn't tell us, though, was how he was going to create it. Is it going to be just the front 4? Is it going to be 3? Is he going to bring linebackers, secondary? This will be fun to check out.
And this may be a big early turning point in this Super Bowl. They're going to go for it on 4th down here. They do go for it. It's Carr. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. 4th down conversion plays, you usually think 1, 2, 3 yards, maybe 10. Not there. What a huge pickup as the Sticks make a drastic shift forward.
I know we love our jobs, and pretty much any play we see, we're pretty, excited about. But big plays, let's face it, that's what we absolutely live for. How about that one?
That was great, and what our camera missed was the fist pump from the sideline after that catch. They're fired out. That's a big gain. So the big play gets them all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Throwing now is Carr. And it's caught. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Raider touchdown. With the first touchdown of this Super Bowl, as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. One of the keys to their long winning streak has been scoring first. An ideal drive right there, getting the first 6 points of the ball game.
Do you go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator? Remember what he told us?
Absolutely.
With some teams, I script to probe in the early part of the game. Other teams, I script to attack. They've been in attack mode for these ball games and continue that in this one.
Gonzalez good on the extra point, and that makes the score 7-0. So that drive spanned 5 plays, and it ends with an Oakland touchdown. Now after the touchdown, here's Gonzalez on to kick it away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They trail early on in this Super Bowl as they come up 1st and 10. Now a fake on the give here as they try the run-pass option. And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. 13 yards as the Vikings pick up the first down. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. From the gun, it's a give to Cook. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. It'll be a loss of 1, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. Plays like we just saw there. That's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game, and that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage.
sliding up, and he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. Max Crosby, he's the culprit, dropping him for a 2-yard loss. So first and second down went in the wrong direction. They'll try to do better here on 3rd and 13. The Vikings with the football here to begin the second quarter, as they've got it staring at a 3rd down and 13. Setting up the screen for Cook. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. Well contained there defensively. The screen gets only a yard, and it's 4th. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. Do you like the call?
I do. I think it's a high-percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the first down. In this case, it didn't happen.
This is brought in at the 21. There he goes, left side. And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. What a run. 79 yards on the punt return. And the Raiders are able to strike quickly for 6.
When you've got a guy that fast back there to receive punts, that's a nightmare for the guy game planning, the special teams coach, but it's also a nightmare for the punter. Sometimes they get so nervous that they hit the ball and kick it right to him.
Gonzalez to add the PAT. And this is no good. Missed the PAT, so they fail to connect, and this remains a 13-0 game. Now the Raiders going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts. So as they take it over, we step aside. So after surrendering the punt return for a score, let's see what they can do in turn on this kickoff. An incredibly short kick fielded way up there. And they're going to wind up with pretty good starting field position as they get it up past the 35. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a first down and change our momentum?
They run, Cook, and they will only muster a yard here to the 38. Now whistles and a timeout. Looks like we've got a Viking slow to get up. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. The Vikings on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 9. Back to throw here. He'll buy some time right. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down.
Well, someone's been up to the task so far in this game. They are already up a couple of scores, Brandon, and guess what? I think they're just going to pin their ears back now and get upfield and get after the quarterback.
Been such an impressive first half to get that lead. 44 on his first punt, and this is a good kick as well. He'll look to set up his blockers. And he's loose again. And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. What a run. 79 yards on the punt return. And the Raiders able to extend that advantage.